This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com.
Hold on. I can edit this later.
We're on the air, Philip.
I know.
Okay. I know I always say people like this slice of life stuff, but you know.
This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Recording has started, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie Professor. And with me, as always, is the man like me.
Phil, me, and Perich.
I was going to add something there, and then
I don't know your dramatic.
No. You were right to pause because I might have said something because I wanted to, and then I didn't. See, Phil's life is chaos when I'm around, and I should do my best to limit the chaos, but somehow I only increase it. See, he's so understanding. He is such a nice guy. You should have a friend like Phil Perich, let me tell you. Fill me in, Perich, the man who fills me in on all the things I do wrong. Okay. On that note. Hey, Phil, how do I sound?
Good.
I sound good? Okay. Do I sound better on the cell phone or do I sound better on the computer? That's a question I'm having. It's like, you know, I listen to these shows back to back, and you, the audience, can write in and tell me, because Super Connectivity, after the start of it, I'm on my cell phone.
I mean,
and now I'm on the computer.
It's probably close. I mean, if one's better than the other, it's probably by a hair. I mean, you sound good right now, so I mean,
okay, as long as I sound good.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I think when I'm doing the Skype, I sound muted, even though it doesn't sound like it on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I listen to the podcasts for me and Maz, I sound much more muted. I have to get him into Hangouts, but then I have to figure out how you record from a Hangout and how you hang things out. I don't know how to hang. Anyway, let's talk about the wonderful world of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
It is Captain Marvel week, kids. Get your fan theories in now. Get your words properly marked because it all ends on Friday, where all the spoilers are out there for everybody to see. And we all feel disappointed that our brilliant idea was not the one chosen by the writers 4 years ago. Okay. Little news. Rotten Tomatoes has decided they really don't care if you want to see a film anymore. Because too many jerks are making a point to say, I don't want to see this film. You see, originally the idea was that, we should see who wants to go see this film. And so you would click on and say, I want to see this film. And then some people would say, I'm not really that interested in this film. It has a normal up-down metric. But there are trolls who make it a point in their life to be afraid of women in anything, and have decided that girls should not be allowed to play with cosmic powers, and made it a point to say how much they don't want to see this film. And granted, you can make this argument that, well, you know, that's fair. If there are a lot of people who don't want to see this film, it's fair for them to say they don't want to see this film. However, I think that you get into this problem where if you're actively... If you're making it as an active point, and more importantly, if you're creating meat puppets to do so, then you're just kind of a lame loser. And really exactly the kind of person who needs to reassess everything about your life because it has gone poorly. Just my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong. But like I said, that's Captain Marvel. Rotten Tomatoes is getting rid of the "Do you want to see it?" button because, honestly, who cares? Really, "Do I want to see it?" button? That's Fandango. That's I'm going to pay extra to make sure I get a ticket ahead of time. So you have two meters for do you want to see it? One is people who buy their tickets ahead of time to pay extra just to go see a film, from where I think she's doing pretty well. I think her pre-sales are very high. And then you have the actual, did I want to see it? Yes, this is how much money this film made. This is why Aquaman, even though it was a film I didn't want to see, I had to see, did very well. If I had sat there and like said, oh, I think Aquaman's going to be awful, or I read the script and I don't like it for this reason, and now I'm going to create a bunch of meat puppets so that all of you understand how vehemently I feel, well, that's really not, that's not sportsmanlike. That's what I'd say. That's not sportsmanlike.
I think, I mean, it's an MCU production, so I mean, I don't think it can be that bad. It's gonna be. I would bet anything I have that's gonna be better than any DC pro. You know.
Yeah, I. Well, here's what I'll say. If she says to someone that mercy is in the ocean, which when she starts off, she is,
or save yourself.
Yeah, whatever it was he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?
Because Martha is such a rare name.
No, he says I should talk to Phil. Phil, why did you say that name? That would be funny. That would be hilarious if at some point, you know,
if someone said, "Why'd you
Nick
say
Fury
that name?" It'd be like
something random, and she says, "Why did you say that name?" Like, well, you know. Oh, Martha, and she's, why did you say that? Oh, well, that's a person, you know. I know she would find this funny. I'd say, oh, okay, well, that explains that very quickly, and we didn't have to fight about it. That is an after credit scene. If they ever go back to comedy after credit scenes, which Marvel doesn't do, but as a child of the '80s, I always love those when they do the blooper reels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after Cannonball Run, we all love Cannonball Run. Cannonball Run 2, Electric Boogaloo, also had that. So, getting back to Captain Marvel. So, like I said, this is the time to get in your fan theories. And there was a very interesting fan theory. Now, it has been confirmed by Annette Bening that she is the Supreme Intelligence, correct?
Yep.
And then our good friends over at CBR unearthed an interesting tale recently about what the original plan for Ms. Marvel, which is what Captain Marvel named Ms. Marvel, because she used to be Ms. Marvel, now she's Captain Marvel. Her very unpopular pregnancy storyline.
Oh yeah, well that's it. Well, I wonder if that part of that too was that they had to switch course, because I guess originally they wanted her to have been impregnated by the Supreme Intelligence, but
well, yeah. So apparently, what it was I guess, and this is one of these moments where I'm going to look at Jim Shooter and I'm going to say, you know, Shooter, I think you made the wrong call. Because apparently, what it was they just done a what if story.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that in this story, the Supreme Intelligence wants to make a human Kree hybrid.
Yes.
And he's going to use Carol Danvers to essentially artificially inseminate her, again, against her will, so still very rapey. But I think maybe in that story, they deal with it in a much more positive way, other than what they wound up doing.
Mm-hmm.
Although, who knows? He might have just been, just the same story, just to the Supreme Intelligence. I just had this guy make her fall in love with his head. To give himself a body. But apparently what it is, and in fact, that might have really been the crux of it, that it was he wanted to have that body.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they had done a similar story of the Kree Supreme Intelligence putting his intellect into a body to expand beyond his realm in a what if, where he takes the dead body of Rick Jones, who apparently died in this storyline, and he merges with it to become that. Now, this gets me thinking, is that what is going to be the final thing that makes Carol turn against the Kree? Is realizing that she has, that basically the idea being that maybe she was sent to the Kree using the Kree technology, which we've already seen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the teleportation technology like the Obelisk, which we know is around in the 90s. And they send her in there. She dies wherever it sends her. And then the Supreme Intelligence sort of resurrects her to make her into this Kree hybrid, but with the intention that Annette Bening is the big bad of this film. She wants that body.
Yeah.
And maybe she merges with the Supreme Intelligence. Maybe she doesn't merge with the Supreme Intelligence. Maybe she gets a major power upgrade when she gets it, and then it's about her fighting the Supreme Intelligence. Maybe she winds up with, maybe it's a situation where the Supreme Intelligence bonds with her, but then the Supreme Intelligence finds itself a junior partner in the relationship. That maybe Carol's humanity is stronger than the Supreme Intelligence. And that's what we get there, and that she gets this superpower upgrade, and storylines progress from there.
Well, I told you my big theory is like, now we have precedent in the comics that her mother was Kree. It's like, so we were talking about, is the Supreme Intelligence going to appear to her as her, visually as her mother? What if the Supreme Intelligence is kind of her mother? What if the Supreme Intelligence is female, and that her actual mother?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question. Now, here's a neat take on that. The Supreme Intelligence is the greatest leaders. It's the merging of the minds of the greatest leaders of all of Kree history. What if Carol's mother was someone who came to Earth, but she was also a great warrior leader? Maybe the story is, my mother died.
Well,
and then because, like, getting buried in the wall of the Kremlin, her honor upon her death as one of the great warriors of the Kree society is she gets put into the Supreme Intelligence, and that's why she appears as her mother.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. That was part of my theory too. What if instead of a giant green floating head, what if every time there's a new ruler of the Kree, like the memories and the minds of like all the past rulers get like uploaded into their head or something?
Oh, well, so you're assuming that Annette Bening is a physical being.
Yes. What if they're all physical beings, but, to go with part of the theme of the Supreme Intelligence, they just get all the knowledge of the previous rulers uploaded into their head somehow?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I think you have a storage capacity issue. That's hard to get around. But, I personally like but since it already said in the novelization you looked at that.
Oh, yes.
It appears as what in a different form. But it wouldn't surprise me, since we're using, youthening technology anyway, if we don't get a young Annette Bening in here somewhere as the great warrior of the Kree, leadership, And honestly, the idea of, just because they're not sexist doesn't mean they can't be Nazis. So the idea that you could have that's the great thing about Nazis, is you can actually totally like one person that most Nazis maybe aren't down with, but you can still be a fascist Nazi even if you like this one group of people that other Nazis are like not down with. No, we're the progressive Nazis. We're the ones that like these groups. That's sort of like the entire idea of modern Hydra in comic books, is that they're not Nazis because they like these other groups, but they are still very much Nazis because they want to control people and kill people who they deem unworthy of life. This is basically, it is Nazism is sociopathology writ large. And you can make that a racist ideology, or you can just make it any other ideology. Any ideology given over to sociopathology will lead to mass extinction. It is the universal slavery of reason. Once you have determined that there's only one outcome, then you must exceed that outcome. That is sociopathology. It is called sociopathology because you are unable to master trinary reasoning, which is the idea that it's not all this or all that. There's actually a third way, and we have to find that way, and that is what social interaction is about. So if you're not sociopathic, if your social understanding is not pathological as a detriment to you, then you have a proper social understanding, which is that you understand it's not all one thing. And can I just take a moment, because I do want to, because I did mention RUR, and I do want to mention that Mercer in Orville shows himself to be every bit as great a captain as any.
Yeah.
Spoilers for this. At the end of it, there is this very strong discussion of what do we do with Isaac? We imprison him. They want to put him on trial. Now, Isaac didn't actually kill anyone in this, even though he is the emissary and technically an enemy. And Mercer makes this very great point that because, and again, this is about the parallel that we have in here. Mercer makes the point is we can't be what they think we are.
Yes.
Even as we see that the Kalons, because they are bound by the universal slavery of reason, to only be able to comprehend things in this binary fashion.
Because the Admiral, aka Professor Stein, wanted to put an on-off switch in Isaac, and that's what Mercer said. He said, like, no, we can't do that. That's exactly what started this whole thing in the first place. Is their race their builders tried to enslave them.
Exactly, and that is the idea. And here's the thing: is I think that this is, and again, to get to Rob's point about worrying that so much of Orville may rhyme well with Next Generation. This is, I think, the Hugh conundrum.
Yes,
which is what if there is a individual among the Borg?
Yes,
and what if that sense of individualism is actually so much more detrimental to the Borg than any kind of mind puzzle that we were going to send them. They were going to try to destroy the Borg with a meme. They were going to say, do you know what's wrong with this statement?
Look at the internet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
you have to post a giraffe now.
Or sleep, Data, sleep.
Yeah, but yes, it is. But the idea is, and again, so there are these very real qualities that rhyme with it. But at the same time, I think also it presents itself a clear. It rhymes, but it also improves.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It is meant to rhyme.
Yeah,
it's like Weird Al Yankovic.
I think
the songs are supposed to sound like other songs that you've heard before.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does what he calls style parody, this is a style parody.
Mm-hmm.
Weird Al Yankovic will do a song that's a style parody, where you're listening to it like, wait, isn't this that song by that one band? And then you're like, no, it doesn't really meet that, because what he is perfectly matching how that person writes a song, but he's presenting it in this new configuration and presents it as a very different take on things.
I think like the technical stuff, the science fiction-y stuff is similar, which it would kind of have to be, but I think the interpersonal stuff is like deeper maybe than even Next Gen, and you're going in different directions. I mean, I never saw a Worf with a porn addiction.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Although they did mention that sexual relationships for Klingons were very different.
Yes.
They're very much into the S&M, apparently. Not there's anything wrong with that, Consenting adults are consenting adults, as I always say. But anyway.
On that note.
That's supposed to be a drop, Phil. You're supposed to just push it. Don't waste time. Push a button. On that note.
But he likes to hear his own voice. Anyway, you watched Gotham, you said, right?
I did watch Gotham, and this is what I got it. I think this was one of the, how they gave them like extra episodes?
Yeah, that's what we were saying on Thursday night too. Yeah, this seemed like a filler episode because they expanded from 10 to 12 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. And that, because if you think about it as a writer, it's like they say, okay, we got 10 episodes. Okay, there we go. 10, perfect. Have a couple episodes. You're like, okay.
Well, they gave him 2 extra to get to even 100 episodes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Which also, and if it is really that mercenary as the reasoning,
I mean, I don't know what other reason they would have, because Lil said they're already at the number they need for syndication. So
yeah, well, you want that 100 because you get a cake.
there you go.
You get a cake, and they get that Gotham cake. It's gonna be all gray, and they hire a guy. They get one of these fancy guys who does the things, and he does the marzipan layer with the ganache for Gotham the Bat. This, I'll tell you what this really makes you want is I want a Bullock Year One comic book. DC, I will put a Bullock Year One comic book on my pull list today. Immediately when I said that, because I was tweeting, I had to go through it. Wait, is there already a Bullock Year One? There's not a Bullock Year One.
I mean, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything or hear anything about this, but I thought Lil said something about supposedly maybe they were talking about doing a comic book, like they did with Smallville after that was over. I mean, you could really dig into like Bullock and whoever else, if you do something.
I mean, I would love to see. I would pull the Gotham comic. I mean, but like I said, I would rather that they go backwards, not forwards.
Yeah, well,
I would rather, like I said, and not honestly, not for nothing. I think Bullock and Dix are a much more interesting set of characters that I would love to see that story expanded and explored. And I would love to see, and this is kind of the neat thing, is it because it kind of shows how, and this is it's a filler episode, but it's a great episode for the Bullock character.
Yes.
Where we do get to see his own path and his own things, and how I'm trying to do the right thing. And maybe I didn't do it in the best way, but my job was to put a killer behind bars. And yeah, later I found out that, that killer had a story, but that doesn't make them not a killer. And it is this thing. And I think that maybe this is kind of this interesting thing when you look at Batman. Because Batman really doesn't care about how rough the childhoods of the Velasquezes are. Jerome and Jeremiah, they had some rough childhoods. Now he doesn't care because my parents were killed.
Well, I was going to say Bruce
and I
would
had
say,
to be raised by a butler.
Bruce
would like to be raised like a butler.
Well, Bruce would say, a traumatic childhood's no excuse for becoming a monster.
Yeah, but that doesn't really come well from.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not killing people though.
Well, that's what Daredevil used to say too. And we got and actually, what's interesting, what I liked about that episode. So, and I'm going to be a little all over the place. We got a lot to do. Someone took up the whole episode, last episode with ads. So we've got a lot to cover. But Daredevil #2. Did you read it, Phil? I know you did.
Yes, I did. I told you to read it. Yes.
I know, and I did, and it was good.
Oh, yeah.
But here's one of the things I liked about it was they actually made the point that, Daredevil has killed lots of people. But always unintentionally. But this time, he killed this person unintentionally, but honestly, it's a weird circular argument that Daredevil is going through here. Because we see throughout this, I'm a little off my game. I don't have this. I don't have that. But I would never actually kill a guy accidentally.
Well, I think the whole thing is like after the whole accident with the truck, his first grade villain, he's been in physical therapy. He's been going through pain. And like, remember in the last issue, like when he was facing the thugs, like his radar sense was kind of wonky. So I think his whole thing is like, someone's trying to set me up, and it looks like, that I'm out of it or something where, it's accidental manslaughter or,
Well, in this case, it's intention. And in this case, it is second-degree murder, I believe.
Okay.
Because he is engaging in... It actually might even be first-degree murder. I think that I'm not 100% certain on New York law, but if you kill a guy in a fight, that is still considered first-degree murder, even though you can say, I didn't intend to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think was going to happen when you hit him with a billy club? Really? No, really. It's like, which is why, incidentally, if you want to go be a big man at somebody, never bring a baseball bat. because then it's assault with, because then it is assault with a deadly weapon. Because people forget assault is just when you threaten someone.
Yeah, I think you'd be like, yeah, you can't say it was accidental. You planned something because you brought a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like his argument, no, I'm so good. Essentially, the argument that I am really good at hitting people and not killing them isn't a good argument in court.
No, I mean, you'd have to go into the whole powers thing because supposedly, he can sense stuff like pressure points and, supposedly he can be very precise. But if he has to
get on the stand,
him,
has anyone ever died accidentally before? He knows that's the thing. So this is why Foggy's entire argument is bad.
Yeah.
Because if he actually has to make any kind of allocation, and someone says, well, has anyone ever died? Well, so before he'd be under oath, he would get to make a deal and he could go from that deal. But part of any deal is you then have to state the crimes you have committed. Because we saw this in Luke Cage, season 2, or was it season 2? Yeah, that was season 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mm-hmm.
That if you intentionally withhold something, you lose the deal. This is what's going on with that guy that just testified before Congress against Trump. Yeah, that if you withhold something, they say, well, now you've blown the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, what we're looking at here is, so there's really not an out for Daredevil except to prove his innocence. But I think it looks very bad for him. Now, obviously, it's designed to, but it's an interesting take on the Daredevil. Basically, what we saw in the last season of Daredevil on Netflix, whereas that he is beaten up and he's weakened, and he's trying to reclaim that, but he's off his game. But even then, in his defense, it would take a lot of pre-existing conditions to kill a man accidentally in that way. Because not for nothing, even a human being, because he only has human strength, he's punching him, and it's not like he's necessarily going to cause that embolism. Although you can, it is possible, especially if you punch him and he hits and he falls the wrong way on concrete.
Mm-hmm.
What struck me is, didn't he? No, I don't know if he actually mentioned that he was falling the wrong way, but honestly, Daredevil comes off very poorly in this. In the sense, he looks like a guy who's desperate to prove he's innocent. But yeah,
I don't know.
That was Daredevil Part 2.
Yeah, because the Kingpin said he had nothing to do with it because he was eavesdropping on him. I don't know. It's probably gonna be like Mr. Fear, Daredevil's poor man's Mysterio.
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna say I thought it might be Mysterio because I know that was the whole, what if Mysterio tried to take him out because he's a second-rate villain and he's a second-rate hero.
Oh,
I love Mysterio's argument on that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows who's trying to set him up? But I think actually, yeah.
But no,
I'm waiting, Phil.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I know you want to talk Superior Spider-Man number 3. Power Cosmic.
The Power Cosmic. And this is so major spoilers. Turns out Otto is not destroyed by T-Rex, the tamer.
Shocking.
Yeah, I said spoilers beforehand.
Yeah, I know. No.
Here's what is great about this. Otto does the right thing.
Yep.
Right?
Gives up the power.
Because he says, I know enough to know that no human can hold this power without it corrupting him.
Yeah, Doom.
Yeah, Doom. We'll get to Doom in a minute. Like I said, here's what I say. You can't say Otto never lied.
Yep.
If that dropout Doom could do it, how hard could it be for a real intellect? And not for nothing. Yes, that dropout Doom did it. And God, he is. We'll get to Fantastic Four next. But this is what I love about this. issue, after the whole fighting, after we get this great scene of Maria and Ak working together, where basically once they've analyzed the power cosmic, and let's not forget Terax. He's not the sharpest. He's not the brightest bulb in the garden shed.
No,
he is.
Not even the smartest herald of Galactus.
He's like, wait, what? Yeah, I think that Galactus kind of maybe wanted. He actually was kind of picked because he was a sociopath, because he was a guy who people on his home world. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, you know what? Maybe I should get a guy who's not like always, but he don't need to die. It's like, maybe I shouldn't find the most noble being. So he creates Terax, and that ended just as other heralds. You think the guy would say, I don't think I need a herald. They're not very good. But so Ak, changes the nature of the axe so that it like blows back at Terax. And then he blows himself up, which is fun. I also love when he says, yes, I have the power of a person who controls stone. What do you think I'm going to do with that now that you're facing someone who's literally made of stone? But here's the thing. So Maria covers up for Otto, brings him to the location, says you got caught in the accident, which isn't a lie. And she says, those Alpha Flight people took the power cosmic when they picked up Terax. But then we find out she says she's going to keep an eye on him. Says it's his parole officer, and man, because Peter vouches for him. Honestly, taking Peter's. I guess we have to. It is a Spider-Man book. So
I mean, if nothing else, that's like the only other superhero Anna Marie knows is Peter.
Fair enough. And he is vouching for Ott, so that we're clear. Got a clean slate, and so that. But for those of you who ever shipped Hardcastle and McCormick, and I know you're out there, folks. So this might be a good book for you because definitely there's going to be some, because it is a Hardcastle McCormick vibe here. She's his parole officer. He's released into her custody, and there can be more there. But we also see that Anna, bit of a supervillain, because she does a classic supervillain move. She lied about what happened, and then she kept the power for herself, just in case, Phil. Which what I always remember is like every time that any superhero who's also like the Hulk or the Thing gives up their powers or loses their powers, I was like, well, I guess I have to get my powers back now so I can help the fight. It's like, no, there actually are 100 other people who do this, Yeah, this might cause problems if you don't become the Hulk again, and maybe it'll become more detrimental to the world if you were the Hulk again, rather than you just let the Abomination blow up this lab and then have the Thing come in and beat him up. No, I kind of got to have that power. It needs to be safe with someone like me, who's the best person with power. And Otto, to show he is a true hero, says, at no point does he says, my intellect is so great, I can handle it. Basically, after the whole Venom scenario, I think he's like, I think all this idea of questing for that super omnipotent power isn't the best idea. Maybe I should recognize that I am great and awesome just as I am, and use what is my true superpower, my brain, to do what I need to, along with these amazing spider powers I stole.
All right, here's the big thing I think this story brings up. One, is Anna Marie going to use that power? Is it going to corrupt her? And if it does, is Otto going to have to be the one to stop her?
Well, yeah, I think. Well, obviously, that is Chekhov's power cosmic. Mm-hmm. We have established that in the second act.
Yes.
That power cosmic is going to get used by the fourth act. I don't know how many acts are in place. We've established Chekhov's power. We'll call this the first act. So I think it's like if you have a power cosmic in the first act, you got to shoot it in by the third act. I think actually Chekhov actually says you have to shoot it in the second act. But he was a Russian. He's always wants to shoot his guns. My apologies to the entire Russian community who does not like to shoot guns. Although I know one Russian I know, she likes to shoot arrows. So Anyway, but no, it is something that obviously is going to come back, and she is obviously going to use it, or it's going to get stolen, which is the other option.
Yeah.
And it's like, why did you keep that? You know it's dangerous. You said you gave it to Alpha Flight. They could handle this, you know.
Oh, that would be a big thing too, because Otto would be like, you know, this is something you would yell at me for doing.
Exactly. So there's one of two options. One is she has to take on the Power Cosmic for whatever reason. Because not for nothing. Here's the thing. Anna Marie is a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this Power Cosmic sitting here. You know, it's kind of like Marie Curie. It's like, oh, this rock it's kind of hot and glowing, and what can I find out about it? And you know, it's
I almost like that. Poorly. I almost like that better.
Spoilers for the Marie Curie story.
I almost like that better if someone steals the power, and then, you know, once Otto figures out it's because Anna Marie kept it. If he's like, okay, this is something I would do now. Do you? Are we kind of all on the same wavelength? Can you understand me more now? That, you know?
Yeah. Philip. Big prediction. The Hood feels the Power Cosmic. Because, you know, he's been doing so. You know, maybe he says, you know what? I realized I'm done with magic, but there's other ways to get unlimited power. And you mark my words, the Hood is gonna still, because not for nothing, Hood is a thief and he's a criminal. And not for nothing, I got the feeling that Horizon Labs does not have the best security. I don't think it's not a Stark facility. You know, it's not like they expect supervillains to be breaking it. It's like Star Labs. How many supervillains break into Star Labs every week?
You really want a big, huge threat that, you know, that would really, really prove Otto's abilities? What name has he keep bringing up? What about a cosmic powered graviton?
Oh, Graviton steals it? Well, first off, Graviton already has cosmic powers.
I know, but if he juices up even more.
Oh, if he juices up even more, yeah. And that is certainly a Talbot level world-ending event. Stop Thanos in his tracks, though.
And if Otto beats him on his own, imagine putting that on the resume.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it's possible. We did have Chekhov's Graviton early on. And we haven't had that crossover yet. Although it's possible that wasn't really Graviton. Because we saw that Graviton was actually Novar using an image inducer in the great book, West Coast Avengers.
That's right.
They're back. And do all the Avengers have to fight vampires now?
I know. I saw that. I was like, oh.
You know, not for nothing. It's like, really, vampires? It's like, did someone send out vampires? We're doing vampires this week. Yeah. And Nova, he's very, very prejudiced against Skrulls, which I like, because let's face it, we do want to hype our new Skrull series, which is, where's the ad for it? Meet the Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Meet the Skrulls is coming, and again, I think this is why I say I think we're going to get nice Skrulls in Captain Marvel. Because I think the whole point of the Skrulls is that there is not one kind of Skrull. Skrulls are not all one thing. Kree, all one thing. Only good Kree is a dead Kree. But no, that's not true either, because, you know, the original Captain Marvel was actually a nice guy.
Yes. But I don't know, maybe unless Skrulls just evolved, they'll be like, you think we're evil? We just had to kind of, you know, get more cutthroat to deal with the Kree. The Kree are the, you know, the Hitlers you were talking about.
Well, exactly. And this, of course, is something we'll see in the Orville next week, where we come to the question of, now that we've allied with the Krill, now that Avis be praised, Avis has brought us together for what purpose only Avis knows. And it does look like the Krill are still there next week. It's not like the Krill's like, well, okay, we're done. And it's like, now what do they want? So maybe the Krill are like, did we trade did we trade the Kalons for the Krill here? There's the statement that when you have this question, do you ally with would you ally with you should ally with Stalin to beat Hitler, but whether you should ally with Hitler to defeat Stalin is a much more complex question.
I mean, is it going to be? I mean, are the Krill just going to want to kill them, and they'll be like, "Hey, you wipe us out, buddy. Guess what? You're on your own against the Kalons." So,
well, no, the Krill don't want to wipe out anyone.
Well,
they want to.
No, they I don't know. Well, they'll do whatever if they think that's Avis's will.
Well, yeah, well, basically, I essentially the Krill are the beings that would say we have no problem with you continuing to exist so long as you are in service to Avis and thusly the Krill.
Yeah.
So essentially, they have made a deal with those that would enslave them against those who would kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And now so you may get in our third act of this season, because like I said, that was a mid-season episode, and that was their budget. I don't know, unless Fox is just saying, here, this is all Marvel's money now. You just spend it. That was a very intensive episode, and it was amazing. And like as I say, so well written. Yaphet, who is so great, but Yaphet's going to have an arc the rest of the season, because they took him out of just being one note, dirty Norm Macdonald guy, and actually gave him a point to act.
Oh yeah, he sent out the distress signal. He saved Ty. He did it all.
Yeah, and then you actually he saves. Well, he doesn't save Ty.
Wow.
The other Kalon takes him, but he defeats one, which actually is how you actually say that. And then when you have just after that, where taking out the one Kalon almost kills Yaphet.
Mm-hmm.
But he, of course, regenerates because he's protoplasm. It really is. It was a great moment for Yaphet. This is a great episode for Yaphet. Though he has been thinking about reproducing, so that's a whole other thing.
All right, back
another egg.
Back to comics. I want to hear you rant about Fantastic Four #7.
Man.
Doom is so Doom anymore. They brought Doom back to Doom.
Yeah, honestly. Well, again, this is why Doom is no Otto Octavius.
No.
And why Doom is a poor scientist. Because as Otto will be the first to point out, it's like, no, if something fails, you don't do it again. Because obviously that didn't work. And Otto is a guy who says, I could take this power cosmic right now, but that would be stupid.
Well, what's the
because obviously it ends poorly.
What's the definition of insanity?
Keep doing it again and again for no good reason.
Different results or expect different results. Yeah.
And what he has done, and again, we don't know why Galactus is purple yet, right?
I don't.
He was briefly turned. No, because I was thinking about this. He turned purple in before they ended the Ultimates.
Yeah.
Because the In-Betweener turns him purple after he kills the Living Tribunal or some nonsense. And except he's not the In-Betweener. He's some other new character. And he turns, or maybe the Living Tribune turned purple. Anyway, turns purple. But then at the end of it, when they do bring in the original Ultimates from the Ultimate Universe, sort of semi-racist 40s cap and everything like that, they actually do turn him back golden, as I recall. By the end of the Ultimates, he was back golden. So he was the good Galactus, because he was the good Galactus when he meets Moon Girl. So I think the reason he's purple is because of Doom, and that's what's going to be the big reveal here, is that he has been defeated. He has been fighting Galactus because he wanted to harness Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has Galactus phased into Mount Doom, which is going to give him all kinds of crazy powers. And yeah, I think that
I looked it up. I had to refresh myself. Yeah, Galactus was turned purple again in was it Infinity Countdown, because to stop Ultron, they're like, oh, you need to like eat, like Ultron had like a whole world basically, and they're like, you have to eat this world, and he's like, he didn't want to do it, but then once Galactus did it, reverted him, I guess, back to original form.
Oh, okay. Well, that was okay. So Doom
Plot
is blameless and
plot
turning
device.
Galactus purple.
So plot device. Yeah, Galactus was purple again. Yeah.
So convenient plot point is convenient.
Yes.
I like the retelling of Doom's origin with his father here. And actually, what's interesting about this is it actually suggests that his father was the scientist, was the genius, although he could not save the Baron's wife. Which again, big theory. His father is Nathaniel Richards. His grandmother's been lying that they're not really the descendants of the Von Dooms. They're not the Barons of Doom. Because if you're Von, then it means you are from Doomstadt, and it means you are the Burgermeister of Doomstadt, the Baron of Doomstadt. But he ain't. He's just time traveling Nathaniel Richards. Get it out. And that is where you get his father, who again is this kind and dedicated and wonderful man, not unlike Reed Richards, willing to sacrifice himself for his child. So actually, that would make Dr. Doom actually Reed Richards' nephew.
No.
And like my nephew, one of them is kind of a pain in the butt because he doesn't think things through in the way he should. But anyway, enough about my nephews.
But
yeah.
I was gonna say, you did you also want to talk about Marvel Comics Presents #2?
I did want to talk about Marvel. I know we're running late. You got me on the comics. There's so many good comics.
I know.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Gunhawks, which I loved, or
Captain
America, which is great.
Yes.
I just know No Road Home was okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's like, anyway. So quick thoughts about which one. Oh, Marvel Comics Presents again. We get and I'm gonna pull it because I like that Wolverine story, which is clearly our ongoing.
Yeah.
Because when you do these kind of things, you have one ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently they didn't start in the first issue. So they apparently were waiting for people to come to the second issue.
Wait,
because usually there wasn't an ongoing in the first issue. Or
yeah,
Wolverine. They have a Wolverine story.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolverine started in the first issue.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got the first part of that. Okay.
Yeah, because
so
it's like a time jump where like this demon gets knocked out of this world, but it reappears every 10 years. So the first Wolverine story was in the 40s. This one in this issue was in the 50s.
Oh, we get to see 60s Wolverine with a big fro then. Great. I'm looking forward to it.
I guess so.
I want Disco Wolverine. Anyway, so okay, so great. So that's good. So that's obviously but I want to see the rest of the story because it looks good.
So, but then the Mr. Fantastic story, it was basically set right before they got their powers, but it was still set in the 60s. So
no, it was set in the 50s.
Oh, 50s. Yeah, 50s. So I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because it's just because there is a universe where the Fantastic Four started in the 60s.
True. Yeah.
I mean, that is a real reality. And that the time slides does not mean that the past time doesn't continue to exist. In fact, there's a great way to look at Marvel time with the idea of sliding time. It is not that the past doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we are not a stationary observer, although we think we are. So what we are seeing is these stories as time slides from our perspective as a stationary observer in time. But what we're really doing is we're traveling fourth dimensionally,
mm-hmm.
or possibly fifth dimensionally. Not as big on string theory as they should be, but where we're seeing it looks like a continuous movement,
mm-hmm.
but the people are remaining static in time because what we're actually looking at is different time displaced variations on the characters. So there is actually a cosmological explanation that you can have both a 1950s Fantastic Four and a 1980s Fantastic Four, and have it make perfect sense. Even a Fantastic Four that first went up in the year 2000, and have it make sense, and have it all be connected in this line, because we're actually seeing time spread out sort of as an arc. So it's like, here's the original timeline, and then what we are, because we're starting at this point, but we're moving this way as it moves this way. So what we're actually seeing is all these other points in between as we move on our diagonal.
Okay.
So a little bit of calculus for you kids. For those who are watching, can see my manual representations of that. So we do, and here's what's very interesting about it, is the story has Doom as the head of Latveria in the 50s. And according to other variations on Doom's origin, he was actually still in Tibet at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So because he doesn't start calling himself Dr. Doom until Reed Richards goes up into space and comes back as a celebrity. Everyone says, Dr. Reed Richards, Dr. Reed Richards. He's like, oh, call me Dr. Doom. Basically making it a meaningless honorific. What a villain would do, because he didn't do the work. He's no doctor. He's no doctor. That's all I'm saying.
So you did want to talk Gunhawks?
I want to talk it a little bit because, man, I know we're running light on time, but I loved Gunhawks because it's a great take. It's a great way to tell a Western in the Marvel Universe that both takes what is our modern understanding of heroes and our modern understandings of the complex questions of the Western hero. Because essentially what we have is the killer trying to make good, which is a classic superhero story. This is basically the Otto Octavius story, if you will. We meet Dean. He's the sheriff of this town. He's like one of these great gunslingers, preternatural aim, all that kind of stuff. He has a dark past. He has a dark past that he doesn't want to talk about, because apparently during the Mexican Revolution, he was a gun for hire, and he was fighting for the people that they were revolting against. Fun fact about history: the people you think are the heroes aren't always the people that you would necessarily identify with.
Yep.
As I've always said, we were actually on the side of the assassin in World War I. For those who forget, World War I was started by essentially a terrorist killing Archduke Ferdinand. We were actually on the same side as that terrorist when it all plays out at the end of the war. So the terrorists won. It's basically what the moral of World War I was. Has his best gal by his side, yada yada yada, and you get this idea of the Soldadas, which is this all-female group of wild riders who, after they torch a town, because basically what happens is they go there, Pancho Villa's men weren't there, but things get out of hand and they wind up torching the town, and then the Soldadas have committed themselves to killing every last person who was in there. And it goes through its entire story. The Soldados have there's the scroll. The Soldados have tracked him down, and they're going to kill his town if he doesn't give up. He has shot their leader, and he has been shot, and they're in this spot, and then he chooses to go with them to face his own punishment. As his girls, like, Dean, yada yada. Same time, it's like, I'm really pleased with Dean as a character. I'm sad that we only get a one shot. Dead Man Donnelly, the Ballad of Dead Man Donnelly. That's the name of it. Yeah, I've gained a great love of westerns recently, watching old TV shows on broadcast TV, and yeah, I really liked it. I don't know. I thought it really captured that idea of a person with certain skills who maybe did not always use those skills for good, and now you're trying to do good, and then your past comes back. And what is the right answer? And the answer is you face your sins. At the end of the day, you face your sins to save everyone else, because you know that the people that you wronged are going to make you pay for it. That's my thought there.
Do you want to hit?
Yeah. No.
You want to hit anything else before we get out of here? Any other issues?
Well, the only last thing is Captain America. I just want to say, I did not realize that we weren't following Hydra Cap like halfway through this book. I didn't realize that it was split.
Oh yeah.
So when Cap's in prison, part of me is thinking that that's Hydra Cap. Like when he's talking about Strucker, that seemed like something that Hydra Cap would be saying negative about Strucker too. And that's the thing. And so it kind of threw me through. Oh no, that's right. He gets out early and yada yada yada. Yeah, pardons can be bought, of course.
What do you think that's intentional by Ta-Nehisi Coates, where you're like, wait, is this Hydra Cap or real Cap?
No, I think it is exactly. Of course, it's intentional, and I think it worked out very well.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I really, God, this Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's actually a pretty good writer. I don't know if anyone knows that. You find that a lot of people don't necessarily accept the whole "it was that other Cap" thing, and then for what it's worth, that other Cap has a bad day. Because Celine meets up with him. And I don't think that kills him, though. No. So I don't know what is going to happen from this. I don't know where we go next. Maybe he is dead. Maybe Celine just jacked out his super soldier serum. But we'll have to see what happens. But then again, the last time you jacked out his super soldier serum, all you get is old man Cap. And they've had that before, too. I love the fact that the guy they're getting, and this may be a well-established character, the Foreigner, but just that he's called the Foreigner is who is the actual killer. It's an interest, yeah.
An old Spider-Man villain, yeah.
No, I'm sure he is, but it's just it's such an on-the-nose name that I do have to. I have to give props that when Ta-Nehisi Coates is like, who should be the real villain? The Foreigner. It's just like, when you speak about the idea of the other and the fear of the other, it makes for an interesting point that, that fear is something you can harness. Harnessing the fear of the other is a thing you can do.
He was basically around in the 80s. He was basically one of those guys, if you needed like goons for your gang, you could like go to him and, rent goons or whatever. And also, I guess, yes, and like in some untold story, I guess he's like the ex-husband of Silver Sable.
That is what they said, apparently, yes. He's, she gets around, she might have had a husband at some point. Yeah. Well, not to say, no, I mean, like, she travels the world. She lives a full life. People, it's like Hollywood celebrities. They get married, then they stop being married, because they live these lives of adventure and travel. And, everyone should try it once, I guess. Maybe not, but certainly worked for her. Anyway, yeah, that was Captain America. No Road Home was cool. Great take on Nightmare, as always. I do like Nightmare as a character. I like Rocket in this and Hulk. Hulk, I don't know. I don't know how I feel 100% about the current Hulk. I'm a little like, as a character, not the stories. The stories in Immortal Hulk are great, but the character, it's one of these moments where like a story can be good, but sometimes you're like, I don't know if I like your character. I don't know if you're a character I want to follow.
Especially when it's not in the Immortal Hulk book. I think the writers are like have to like skirt this line of like, keep it ambiguous. Like, oh, is this an evil Hulk now, or is it,
Yeah. And that is, and for what it's worth, I mean, people have played with the Hulk's dark side before, especially with him talking about how dark he is.
Yes.
And the question becomes, is where you go next with that. I also don't like Hawkeye necessarily being written down to. And we get a little bit of that in West Coast Avengers, where he's not a big enough celebrity, and he has to use the image inducer to be Simon Williams.
You can just call me Simon.
Yeah, Cliff Simon. That works.
I was just waiting for them to be like, oh, hey, Mr. Williams, can you lift this car over your head?
That'd be rude. Not for nothing. That's rude. It's like the kid who comes up to George Reeves and says, "Hey, can I shoot you?" and have the bullets bounce off your chest.
Well, some kind of initiation thing or something where we would need strength or invulnerability, and I'm just waiting for like
Yeah. Well, maybe next issue because the vampires are clearly onto them. Vampires. Are we still doing vampires?
I wonder if that was like an editorial thing. They're like, "Oh, hey, Kelly, can you like tie this book somewhat into the other Avengers book?" So,
I don't know.
Give us a vampire.
I think maybe she came up with the idea that there was going to be vampires, and like, oh wait, you're doing a big vampire arc there. And for whatever reason, Marvel editorial didn't say, "Oh, don't do vampires. We're doing a whole thing with vampires."
Unless she's doing a thing with like, how vampires don't age and it's just like a Hollywood thing. It's like, oh yeah, I don't think there's been vampires in Hollywood for years. Look at Tom Cruise.
No, there you go. He was in an interview with a vampire, and he is a method actor, so entirely possible. He says, "No, I gotta be." I could see Tom Cruise just saying, "No, I gotta go become a vampire if I'm going to do that. I have to know what it means to be a vampire to make this role real."
Does his own stunts because he's not afraid of death.
Exactly. Yeah. And that would be his first stunt there. He's gonna go get bit by a vampire just so he can know what the story is. So there you go. Tom Cruise is a vampire, and I think he would appreciate being said, "Oh, you're so good as an actor, as so dedicated of an actor, you actually became a vampire just for that role of vampire Lestat." When they do that next movie, they should just bring him back because again, ageless. You could clearly still play vampire Lestat. Him and Hugh Jackman. Oh, okay. What else? Anything else to get to this week? We talked Orville. I think we even talked a little Gotham on this one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did. By the way, again, what I actually wanted to do, honorable mention to Mr. Scarface.
Oh yeah.
But man, that was great. And it's like one of these weird things that the guy who's using him is actually apparently a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
So this is a thing he can do. It's like under his special skills. I am also a ventriloquist. And it's like, wow. So they've been planning this one episode since the start of it, or maybe again, like they said, that they got that one episode. They got these extra episodes, and they said, "Man, if only we had a guy on staff who was a ventriloquist." He said, "Well, actually, I'm a ventriloquist." Or actually, it's like, "Oh wait, the guy we killed off three episodes ago is a ventriloquist." Bring him back. We bring people back from the dead all the time on this show.
I mean, unless they just planned on him being a smaller part of the season, they're just like, "Oh, we got to fill an episode. Let's go."
Yeah.
Give Scarface.
Well, and not for nothing, a lot of it was. So what's interesting is you might have had this as part of another episode.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, this is very much. Those scenes with Mr. Scarface are really much a bottle episode. So you can make this strong argument that what they had was, we were going to do the Jane Doe storyline because it ties into something that we're going to get back to with Hugo Strange.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have to make an extra episode. Another piece in the middle of this. We'll create an unrelated piece that we can shoot in a scene with a couple of scenery chewers, like, the Riddler and Penguin, and let them eat a nice, delicious meal. So much so that we're going to actually introduce a character who's mute, who's going to die in that scene. Because we just need an extra body in the scene to fill it out. But yeah, but don't give him any lines, but just get a big guy to not say anything. I think we can find that in Hollywood somewhere. Yeah, so, and then they bring in that guy, and then, of course, they kill them both off. So everyone in that room, except for Joker and Penguin, is dead. So there's never a question why we never see them again.
Yeah.
So I think they literally took another episode that was going to be about Hugo Strange, that they'll then read it elsewhere, and they just stuck a whole other story in it to fill it out so they could get an extra 3 issues. And that's why it seems like a bottle episode, even though it's actually about Harvey and Hugo Strange and other things about the nature of Gotham, because we do get our little Killer Croc reference in here. The guy who's too far gone from the chemicals and his skin's messed up. It's not really Killer Croc, but kind of maybe a proto of that character. And so we'll see where it goes next from there. But yeah, so good old honorable mention to Mr. Scarface, who was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but that's enough for this week, Phil, unless you got something else to say. Talking so much, Phil. Don't you know we're on a time schedule?
No.
Yes. So nothing else to say? Okay, so Philip, give your social media.
All right, everyone. If you want to get a hold of me, email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And send us some emails at capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Our next episode 95 of Capes and Lunatics is going to be our Captain Marvel review. So go see the movie, send us your thoughts. We're going to be live on YouTube Sunday, March 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A bunch of our friends are going to show up, so be there.
Okay, and of course, you can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way. The mouse at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter. Say live tweet the Orville and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is going to come back eventually. And Cloak and Dagger, which is coming back very soon. And Gotham when I can until it's gone. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Like for the two E's in the middle. For quality.
For quality.
Bing! There you go. I actually cut you off that time. And definitely, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to this episode and the previous Capes and Lunatics episode where I'm using my cell phone. I want you to compare the audio quality for Charlie Esser and then tweet me or email me and say, or if Phil, and say which was better so I know which technology to best employ.
Vote.
Yeah.
Vote. Which was your favorite Charlie Esser?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Super Connectivity for this week. Please super connect with us again next. Good night. Or good morning, depending on when you listen. Good afternoon. Guten Abend. Auf Wiedersehen. That was a good episode, I think.
They're all good. They're usually all good episodes.
Yeah. Although I gotta tell you something, Phil. Don't look towards the board when they do the tweaked audio.
I know. I try.
You show another logo when you do that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Charlie Esser was right.